Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Tonight we begin the third part of a trilogy of scenarios that we began quite some time ago. The first one was The Migration, followed by Equinox. And now at long last we begin Solstice. It was written by Sean Little, who will also be our game master. This will be episode 1. I'm going to give a recap, but I'll go ahead and I'll say, let's begin our journey into the darkness. So. My name is Dr. Owen Brody, and I was a professor of biology at the University of Toronto. My friends are in Boston now, hiding in the house of Mrs. Foster, a friend of Brent Sterling. My life, our mission, has made me a conspiracy hunter of sorts. It all started with the caribou migration of 1927, or rather the lack of a migration. It's taken me for a while to process the fact that we're not alone in the universe. There are hostile and malevolent things, creatures, alien forces that treat us the way we treat lab rats. They've been here for a long time. The Tibetan monks call them the Migoi, or Migo. And they are here, right beneath our feet in secret laboratories, doing unspeakable things. They were called from the expanse by a madman named Jack Perdue, who dreamed of a utopia. He was a man of charisma who used black magic to gain a following. He hoped the Migo would teach him the means to control his followers. He ended up as a brain in a tank, connected to a computer, not the end he planned. I say he used black magic. The thing that he used to summon the Migo was a star-shaped piece of rock and metal. We'll call it Artifact 1. It's one of 3. We don't have it, but we know where it is. At least we think we do. After we managed to blow the alien lab to hell, the Apollo Research Group managed to retrieve it. And that's when another part of this conspiracy reared its head. A man named Reginald Deersworth, the head of Dominion International, conscripted us to find the second object, a very similar object to the first. They sent us to a little town in Ohio to find it. They believed it was buried in the sacred burial mound. Oh, but we found out that Apollo Research is a subsidiary of Dominion. No surprise there. As we began to kick around in the closet of history, we uncovered the possible origins of the artifacts. An Ohio preacher named John Bedelia, never pronounce his name, John Budelia, married a local girl, Miss Amelia Tremaine, and subsequently moved to the West Coast. At some point shortly thereafter, the preacher found the artifact. His demeanor radically changed, and the effect was noted by his wife in letters to her father. He began drawing followers and began the construction of temples, according to his wife's letters, but he kept her out of it. Suspicious, she investigated and discovered that he had adopted less conservative standards of morality, which included bacchanalia and other unsavory practices. Unhappy and distraught, she managed to leave the preacher and return to her father's house in Ohio. And amazingly, she brought the artifact with her. We aren't sure exactly what happened after that, but we speculate that the original artifact was split in 3. One ended up north with Jack Perdue and his visions of utopia. One stayed in Rebelsmith with the Chalmers, and the final one went south. We think Tallahassee, Florida, somewhere maybe in the Okefenokee Swamp, but we have not confirmed that yet. Gradually, however, we came to believe that Dominion was not all that it seemed to be and could not be trusted. I won't go into the details of our adventure in Rebelsmith, but there were murdered dogs, vicious bear attacks, and a flying dragon. Ask Dean. He fought it with his aeroplane. Once we had recovered Artifact 2, we were determined not to reveal it. We would hide it and keep it safe. We took Andrew Chalmers, his daughter and granddaughter, to safety. Then we ourselves went into hiding. We've stayed well hidden for a while, but Mama Kinsey has had enough. So has Clayton. I tried arguing with them, but they felt the safest place for them to go would be back to Purdue Mills. And Dean Montgomery has been leading the Dominion on a wild goose chase, or maybe I should say a wild raven chase. I don't know when he will return. For now, it's me, Jimmy Marsden, and Percy Daniels. Frankly, we're all thinking about just going home. I don't know why we would continue.
Thanks, Tom. That's great. So, Percy and Jimmy and Dr. Brody, you've been in this safe house that you were skeptical at first, but Dean made the calls, and after you left Ohio, you hop, skipped, and jumped your way down to Boston. And Dean made the calls eventually and got a hold of Mr. Sterling again. Mr. Sterling set up the safe house. Apparently he's trustworthy, or at least Dean seems to think so, but he's left you be. He knows there's a little bit of suspicion there. And the woman who owns the house, she's a retired woman, and she's been essentially letting you have the run of the place. There's a small one-bedroom apartment in the back where she lives. The house is yours. You've been using the rear entrance, you've been using disguises, and over time you've improved your ability to blend into the local populace without people really recognizing you at all. They wouldn't know who you were, but if someone were to see you, you feel confident that they wouldn't recognize you. You have spent the last while Dean has gone off very quickly after you arrived to draw the Dominion people away. You've spent some time looking at Dominion from a distance, wandering around, seeing the entrances, seeing the exits. It's not what you would call impenetrable, but it is a large 2-story office building surrounded by a wall with guards and gated entrances for vehicles and a gated entrance for employees that come and go every day like clockwork. You get the feeling that it wouldn't be the easiest thing for you to just wander in there asking questions or looking for things. So after a long period of time, you're starting to get very irritated and bored and homesick. And 2 things happen. Number one, in the mail you receive, or the post, not really the post, rather a delivery comes, that is a envelope with a letter and a box. And that box contains film footage, a reel of film, small reel. You ask the woman who runs the house, and she actually mentions that there's an old of her husband's. He was a dabbler in video photography and movie making, and there actually is a projector that could be used. So she provides that access to you. She says it's in the basement and among his things, and there's even an old bed sheet on the wall that he used for when he used to dabble in whatever he did, animation or something like that. So that's come. It's a very big surprise to you. The letter from Dean says, please view the attached film that I've provided. But he also says something. He says, I've given your information and location information to 2 persons who will come to see you very soon, Mr. John Burnett and Stanley Berkowitz. These persons worked with me at Dominion. John is a person who assisted me in some of my liberation of antiquities, and Mr. Berkowitz was a geologist who worked for the company as well. Neither have any loyalties to Dominion any stronger than my own. So if you trust me, you should trust them. That is the end of the letter. So
I wonder what
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I wonder what the movie is. Jimmy, you think we can set up that camera, the projector?
Yeah, they're not that hard.
Geez, I'm starting to develop a Boston accent, and I don't have a Boston accent.
What if there's going to be cartoons at the beginning?
Okay, we got this all set up. You guys want to watch it? Percy, pick up your dress and come in here. We're gonna watch a movie.
It's a gown.
Yeah, that's lovely. All right, let's watch this. We don't have any popcorn, but we'll watch it anyway.
Is this on? Hello, my friends. I'm sending you this message from afar. I believe I've been successful in leading the Dominion away, in the hopes that you can now proceed with the plan. You must continue to collect the last 2 pieces from the Dominion officers. Now, Sterling has agreed to continue to support you. He's found the safe house you find yourself in now, and he will supply you with any of your needs. You have his contact details, but please, memorize them and then destroy them. This is for your good and his. I've also contacted 2 of my other associates. These men can be trusted. They have an in-depth knowledge of the work at hand and of Dominion. Unfortunately, I had to lead Dominion further away than I first expected, and I will not be able to reach you in time. Please, be safe. I fear we do not succeed. We cannot begin to imagine. Godspeed, my friends. Captain D. Montgomery, signing out.
Wow.
It was impressive.
I was hoping that we could just go home.
So somebody remind me, we're looking for 2 pieces or 1 piece?
We found the 1 piece in Revelier, the Revelsmith, and that Deersworth fellow had the original, the first piece, the one from Star City and remember by Pardue Mills. And the 3rd piece was that Sterling thought that it was somewhere in, he said the Okefenokee Swamp or Tallahassee. Those are 2 completely different ends of Florida, I think. Somewhere in Florida.
So who has the first piece then?
Dominion.
No. Dominion?
Dominion has the first piece.
It's probably in that building.
And we have the 2nd piece, or did we give that back?
We have the
You have
second
the second
piece. Actually, at the end of last episode, Montgomery had it.
He's left it with you.
He's left it with us. All right, so we've got it.
Where did you put it, Percy?
It's in a safe place.
You do remember, right?
Very safe place. Very, very safe place.
It's safe because he can't remember.
I think it's somewhere in the continental United States of America.
I think it's somewhere in the room.
It's in the building. It's in the house. You have seen it as Percy. It's in a box. There's a box that you found that actually fits the pieces. And
Oh yes.
Yes.
It's in. It's yes. I know where it is. It's I had to write what was in it on the box so that I wouldn't forget. But I very cleverly I put the label at the back to fool burglars.
It's under your bed in the case.
Is it? Well, there we are then. That's solved then, isn't it?
All
You
right.
also have the empty case that you have another empty case.
Right.
So
And this one had a shape to it that was different than the others, right?
yes,
Sort of
it's not a star shaped.
Sort of snake shaped, I think you said.
It's an oddly shaped piece. Yes.
So 2 star-shaped things and an odd-shaped piece. So I guess we got 2 missions. One is we got to recover the thing from Dominion, though I don't know how. And the other one is we've got to go to Florida or find out more information on it, see if we can find it. And then I don't know what, hide it? This thing summons things and controls things. I don't know what the 3rd piece does.
Hide it or
Is there no
destroy
way
it?
of destroying it?
Well, I don't know if we can destroy it, but we should definitely consider it. I mean, we know the 1st piece summons things. Purdue used it to summon the Miko. We know that the 2nd piece controls things like flying dragon creatures. I can't believe that. If I hadn't seen you chasing that thing around with the airplane.
But you don't know what the 3rd piece does.
We don't know what the 3rd piece does.
No. You're pondering, you're debating, you're discussing the past. This has given you a little more interest in sticking around, at least, perhaps, or maybe it gives you interest in fleeing. And there's a knock on the door to the basement where the projector is, and it's Mrs. Foster. Foster, that was her name, right? Mrs. Foster. And she says, Dr. Brody, I have another envelope for you. This was delivered by the boy down the road.
Okay.
So it's an envelope. It's just a plain old envelope, and when you open it up, I assume you open it.
Yeah.
It just has a time on it. It says 8:25 p.m.
8:25 p.m.
Yeah, it's currently morning.
Okay.
So
I wonder if that's when our friends are going to show up. These friends of Dean's. I don't know what else the time would mean. All right.
okay,
So what do you guys want? Go ahead.
You do what you want. Go ahead.
What do you guys want to do? Parcheesi? Bridge? What was that?
Whist.
Whist?
Can any of you play whist?
Yes, you know that we can. We've been playing it for days, and you've
My
been
s-
skunking us.
My sister Dolly and I used to play whist rather a lot.
You're a master at whist. It's amazing. Well, I don't know what to do.
You guys can talk about it for a few minutes and just sort of be on your own for part of the day. But I'm going to skip over to the other two right now. John and Stanley, or whatever I don't know what you go by, you guys. You, as I mentioned in the intro, you were in the letter I sent to you earlier, you were contacted by Dean. You both vaguely know each other. But John, you've worked with Dean for on and off, occasionally pulled into various jobs to assist him in liberating antiquities and such. And Stanley, you worked as a geologist, and you had to travel with Dean on a couple of jobs as well. You knew he was kind of an adventurous sort. You didn't quite know what he did, but you know that he was well respected in the company, and then he was just gone and then back, and it happened all the time. John, you haven't worked for Dominion for a while, but you're not an actual employee. You were a contractor. Stanley, you actually left on bad terms. So you have a bit of a grudge. They owe you money. You're not happy with the way things went down. And when you both receive a letter saying you two need to talk, and Dean sort of explained that these people are in town, they need your assistance, and he would appreciate it, and he's actually provided you with some money, like fees to cover your expenses as well as excess money to go and help them. And he's the letters actually said 8:25 p.m. at an address. Please destroy this letter after you receive it, and it gave you each other's names, so you actually have the ability to get together and talk before you visit the house if you wish.
Excellent. So at the house where the meeting is at 8:25. That's where we'll meet up then. Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
All right. Well, I probably show up about 15 minutes early, about 10 past 8. Drive it up in a nice rental car. Thanks, Dean. And I get out. John is he's kind of a shorter guy, very white guy, wearing a nice tailored suit, fits him perfectly. And yeah, when I pull up out front, then I'll just kind of walk up to the front door and give a gentle rapping on it.
That would probably be our people. So I head for the door. Open up the door.
Stanley, what time are you planning to show up?
On time.
They're your characters. Okay.
On time.
All right. Well, John, you knock the door, and you guys inside the house, you hear the door knock.
Yep. I answer the door. Good evening.
Hi, John Burnett. I'll offer you my hand.
Mr. Burnett, please come inside.
Yeah, Dean said you folks needed my help with something.
Yeah.
Wasn't too specific
we're
about
expecting
what.
a Mr. Berkowitz as well. Not up there, I guess so. You're a little
He's
early.
a geologist guy, right?
The geologist, yeah.
Yeah. I think he found that really nice, that real nice pink stone from last month.
Did you work to get him?
Not exactly.
But you worked with Dean.
Yes.
Can we get you something, tea or coffee?
Yeah, I'll have a coffee.
All right. Well, come in and make yourself. This is Mr. Marsden and Mr. Daniels. Mr. Daniels is in disguise. That explains the. He doesn't normally dress this way.
He's wearing a gown. You
Yes.
said, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you do?
Okay.
Rather well. And as I head towards the kitchen, I look back at John and I go,
Right. And I just kind of look around. I'll go up and shake hands with Jimmy and Percy if they do so. John has a kind of a wet fish handshake. He's not a very buff or strong person. He's a little bit bulky, but not. It's obviously not in biceps.
Mr. Burnett, do you take cream and sugar?
No, just black is fine.
All right, there you go.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Berkowitz. So we've gone on quite a few adventures ourselves. Dean joined us for the last one. It was a doozy. Have you ever encountered any strange things while you were out artifact hunting?
Strange things? Oh, well, I don't know if I've ever encountered anything as strange as a gentleman in a woman's evening gown in the middle of Boston before, but...
This is the least strange thing that you'll see when you hang around with us. If I told you some of the strange things that we've seen, you would think we were absolute loony crackpots.
Yeah, I glance over at Percy. You don't say.
Has Mr. Montgomery filled you in at all?
No details.
Of course not. He left it to us to look like
Let me see.
crazy.
Actually, he did mention one thing. I think he mentioned. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Yeah, he said there was something you needed liberated from the old Dominion offices or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be able to help out with that. I imagine that Berkowitz fellow probably knows those offices pretty well too.
Knock, knock, knock.
Oh, there's. Hold on, just a moment. Oh, Mr.
On
Berkowitz.
cue.
Oh, hey, is Monty in?
Come on inside. Dean's not going to be joining us. Please come
Oh,
on in.
really?
Coffee or tea?
Uh,
I get you.
Coffee's fine.
All right, got coffee. This is Mr. Marsden and Mr.
Burnett. John
Mr. Burnett and
Oh
Mr.
yeah, I met John before.
Mr.
How you doing?
Daniels. I'll get you.
How do you do?
Mr. Daniels.
Yes, I'm in disguise.
I can see that.
Why are you in
That's,
disguise?
It's a good disguise.
Well, we're wanted men, you know.
Oh, really? You don't say.
Yes,
Wanted for what?
They're looking for us.
Who? The police?
I can't quite recall.
Dominion is looking for us.
That's the chaps. Yes, Dominion is looking for us. So we're incognito.
Oh, that's a shame. They're pretty good at finding things when they're looking for them.
I mean, would you find him?
That's a fair point.
I mean, quite honestly, he makes a lovely old, a rather handsome woman.
It's very
Yeah,
all right.
emphasis
Say
on
so,
handsome.
Dr. Brody.
Mr. Berkowitz, cream and sugar?
Nah, just black's fine.
All right, there you go.
Shall I be mother?
Thanks.
Yes, mother. Yes, you can be mother. Oh, well, to make a long story short, without even telling you the short story, we have an object. Dominion has the second part of it, and we're looking for a third part of it. We don't trust Dominion. We don't trust what we think is going on there, and we need to remove this object from their caretaking in order to put it somewhere safe. We're afraid that it could be used for the nefarious reasons. We think,
With some kind of weapon?
well, I mean, I suppose it could be used as a weapon. It's more of a communication device.
Like a radio or something?
Yeah.
Why are you stealing a radio?
Well, it's a very special kind of radio. Okay. What I'm going to tell you is going to
Oh,
seem
did they finally get
impossible.
that ground penetrating thing they were working on? Did they
Uh,
finally get that one working?
This radio can contact things from other worlds, outer space, maybe inner space, other dimensions.
Really?
I know, it sounds completely nuts. But quite honestly, our shattered nerves are because we've had to deal with the results of these things. I don't know if you were clued in or if you ever got a glimpse, but there's artifacts at Dominion that were rescued from a place up north called Pardue Mills in Canada. Sound familiar? Oh.
Would I have heard about this job or anything? Or
You were brought on as a consultant for specific jobs.
right?
You've never been to Northern Ontario for a job for Dominion
heard
or
of anything
anyone
from
else.
Pardue
You've
Mills.
never heard of Pardue Mills or anything like that. But you do know it's plausible because you know that Mr. Dearworth and the persons above him are obsessed with spiritual items.
Mhm.
And generally the things that you and Dean Montgomery had liberated from museums and other locations were things that had a purported spiritual quality to them. You don't necessarily take take that as, really they're magical things. And you just think, well, people believe that.
Mhm.
People had faith in them, but you heard of such things being the targets of your operations. Yes.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds
Plausible.
like something Dominion would do.
Yeah, some of them, they're obsessed with items of a paranormal nature.
Yep. Well, you know what? Paranormal, normal, whatever, I don't care. I get paid well enough. I'll steal it.
Hmm.
Okay, well, that's simple enough. Let me.
You're right not to trust Dominion. You can never trust anybody who steals from themselves.
Yeah. And
Long
if
story.
you're looking
Just
to
take my
knock
word
over
for it.
Dominion, they owe me about a year in back pay and my retirement. So maybe I can find that in there too.
They're a disreputable bunch. They were very unpleasant towards the workers in the town I come from.
Well, to continue in the fantastical world of what I'm going to tell you, this object ended up in the hands of the founder of Purdue Mills, Mr. Jack Purdue, and somehow, I don't know whether he knew it beforehand or whether he stumbled upon it. The first object of Artifact 1 seemed to be some sort of a mechanism that allowed him to make contact with an alien race. We don't know from where, or we don't know
Oh.
or anything about it. However,
Like little green men or something, yeah?
yeah, more like big orange crab things with brains and
That's a new one.
anyways, what he ended up summoning was an invasion of sorts. These things broke through into our world. They set up a lab. They began testing humans and caribou. That's where I came into it. I was studying caribou. They began grafting humans and caribou together. There were these creatures roaming around. The entire caribou migration cycle was thrown off. You can look this up if you want. I mean, the migration of caribou, which happens on a regular schedule every year, suddenly stopped, and we began to have attacks by these caribou things. We eventually found their nest, and we dynamited it, but it was Dominion that ended up finding the artifact. We didn't know about the artifact at the time. And that's when
Right.
Deersworth contacted us again because we had been involved. And he wanted us to go to Ohio to find the second piece, which we found. But now that we know what's going on, we don't want to let them get all these pieces. We don't know what the hell the thing does.
How many pieces did you say there are?
There's 3. We don't
You
know
got
exactly.
one, and they got one.
And they got one, and we need to find
So-
the other.
Why are you worried about the one they got? Why don't you get the other one?
The one that they have summons these things, and we want to make sure they can't do it. And we're in Boston, and they're in Boston, so it's closer.
Well, that's what they call that, sanctidipity or something.
Serendipity.
Serendipity.
That's the word.
Just so that you don't think I'm a complete cracker, but also because you need to see this. And I go and I retrieve the
Oh.
artifact.
Why would I think that?
Okay, but I retrieve
as
the
soon as-
artifact from.
As soon as Dr. Brody leaves, I just like point and go like this.
Uh,
I'm just kidding.
In that cave that he said he blew up, were there any funky smelling gases?
I don't recall it.
Because there's a lot of stuff on the ground that'll get you.
What, like poisonous, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, the hallucinations happen.
Well, I wish someone told me that before we went in. Do we know if these things, like we know the one, or at least we're under the assumption the first one is used to summon. Do we know if they are able to be combined at all? Like, could we tell just by the shapes? Do they interlock? Does it seem?
Yeah,
Or-
Yep.
there was an end on it that looked like it fit into together, and they were both star shaped, like they would go together.
So I'm just trying to like get to John's point where, why bother with the one that Dominion has? Because together they might be even more powerful. Is that fair to say? Is that?
No, yeah, I mean, it's fair to say it's really just because it's a few miles from where we're currently located.
Mm-hmm.
Why go looking 100 miles away or 1,000 miles away when we've got something to look for right here?
Do you know? I've been thinking about that same question, and it occurred to me that while they might have capabilities on their own, one summons and the other takes control of that thing. When combined, they may well be more than the sum of their parts. Just because each component has a certain function doesn't mean that they play those roles when they're all put together. It might be something much more powerful, and certainly something that we wouldn't want those Dominion fellows to get hold of.
Well, here's the case. I want you to take a look at it, because from what we understand, the second piece looks very, very much like the first piece. So you'll know what you're looking for. And I open up the case and I show it to them.
Show the first piece, right?
The first piece. It's basically a star shape. It looks like it's composed out of jadeite, perhaps, on this one side, and a coppery metal on the other, with an indentation. Now we think that the first piece fits into this. I think they showed us a mock-up of what it looked like. And
Okay.
this part here looks like it would fit in.
Can I make an appraisal roll against this just to see if it has what kind of monetary value it might have?
Ooh, sure.
Sure. Jadeite's a fairly common.
I rolled a 16 and I have a 50 appraise. But
Looking at it, it's a one-of-a-kind object. In the right situation, this could be priceless. You have no age. You can't determine an age. It doesn't look modern in any way, shape, or form. The copper is odd. It's more like it's not pounded in place. It's almost like it's melded to the jadeite. It's impeccable the way it was created.
Where'd you say this is from? Do you know where?
We don't really know. There's actually a backstory that we've begun to piece together. We think it's from the West Coast somewhere. There was a preacher who went out west and discovered it. We think that he discovered it because, from what we understand from letters and things, that his personality suddenly changed, and then it was brought back here and split into 3 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what's the geology guys say, because jadeite's really it's a fairly common stone. It's not like
I failed the geology roll though.
Oh,
so.
okay.
I think it's the craftsmanship anyway that makes the piece,
craftsmanship. We think that it's alien.
Yeah, that could well be
alien.
Could
right?
well be jadeite or some kind of funky glass. That seam the seam between the two materials though. That's some funky stuff.
I mean, at one moment it sort of looks like something that could be an ancient artifact of, I don't know, Peru or Inca or something, but then at the same time, it looks really alien.
They were able to do things in the olden times that we've lost the art for nowadays. I mean, look at those pyramids in Egypt and stuff. How did they build that shit? We can't do that today.
They built that with these.
With rocks. That's how they built them.
Anyway, the other one's going to look like this. Now, the third one, we had the case for that as well. The indentation for it doesn't look the same. It looks like kind of a snaky sort of shape. We have no clue what that looks like. But
Well,
wherever
we'll
the third,
cross that bridge when we get to it. In
yeah,
the
wherever the
meantime,
third piece is, there's gonna be something weird going on.
Sorry, did you say snake? Snaky?
Yeah, it was kind of an odd shape,
serpentine. Yeah.
the indentation.
It's not the same as the other two.
And
So
does that
we're,
also look? Does that also look like it would fit into the star shape thing?
I won't
hard to
even
tell
make you
without seeing
roll
the
for it.
piece. Yeah.
You've looked at these boxes long enough. You can see how somehow they would fit together, but
would all
there
fit
might be
together.
another piece involved. There might be something that's not part of the three.
Right. Part of it, we're
there might
making an assumption.
Yeah, but you can see that they definitely would sit together. They're the right size and relative size and such.
They're going to be guarding this thing pretty well. I mean, maybe not with guards, but definitely with lock it in the safe or something. Do you know how to crack safes?
Oh, yeah. Leave that to me.
Oh, that's good news.
You know the building, yes, Stanley?
Yeah, pretty well.
My guess is the most likely place would be in Deerworth's office.
Think it's in his office? So you don't know exactly where it is.
We don't know where it is.
Hmm.
I just think something as valuable as this, unless they've got labs there and he's.
What's the security arrangements like over there, Stanley?
What are the security arrangements like?
I can tell you. Okay, Stanley thinks for a minute. He remembers. Well, it was a little while since I was there, but not too long. The building, you guys have all seen it from outside. John, you've been in the main office. You walked in the front door. There's a reception area where there's two guards sitting there and a receptionist. There's a door and another door, but you've never really been any farther because you weren't technically an employee.
Yeah, and I
Generally, you
don't
went in,
imagine
got
I
your
was ever there.
paycheck, and
Like,
left.
I don't imagine I was ever there after hours either. Like
Nope,
late. I
nope.
think so.
Not at
Stanley
all.
maybe was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stanley does remember that the most guards. I mean, if you thought about it, you probably saw during the day a couple guards walking around. You know, at the end of the day when you were leaving, there's twice as many, 4 or 5. But different locations, like you go out in the parking lot area because you generally walk to work.
Mhm.
But when you walk past the parking lot area, definitely a guard at the gate, opening and closing the gate. Another guard at the other gate, guard inside the front door. Generally, you're thinking 4 to 5 guards is the most you've ever seen in one day in the location.
Okay.
It's the building's 2
most of them-
floors. Sorry.
Most of them outside or with like 1 or 2 patrolling inside?
Generally, that's what you recollect.
If John, if you showed up there, would they do some sort of security check, or would you say, "Oh, they called me on some business," and you could just walk in because they've seen you before?
That's a good question.
The process usually was you were contacted by Dean or someone else who was the project manager or whatever you want to call them at the time. And they would say, "We got a job for you. Meet us at the airport. We're flying to Bolivia," or something like that.
Yeah.
It was at the end of the project you'd go in to get your pay or to bring things to the building with the Dean or whoever. That's it.
I'm not going to be able to just walk in there and like have my free reign about the office or anything, you know.
And Stanley, you left under bad circumstances, so you can't walk back in there very easily.
Well, I could walk in there and
Demand your money back.
maybe.
Security
The guards might let me into the lobby and give me a couple hours to yell at people, but after
Stanley?
that, nah.
Stanley, do you remember were the guards armed?
You definitely noticed pistols inside the building.
Okay. Yeah, they had some pistols. Inside the building, guys.
Oh boy.
Flashlights, obviously.
Well, I think that Sterling or Dean got you guys because you kind of know what you're doing. We honestly don't know how to break into places.
Yeah.
And the best disguise we've got is already taken.
Stanley, I don't suppose you have any experience in the field of infiltration.
No, I'm not unless it's a mountain. I could infiltrate a mountain or a canyon or a mine
Yeah, you were thinking. I could hear
or
you talking.
deposits.
Could hear you talking earlier about maybe us hallucinating.
Yeah, that is a real thing.
Yeah. Have you ever hallucinated?
No, because usually I'm wearing the right protective equipment when I'm down in the gas.
When do you usually hallucinate? Part of you knows that you're hallucinating because everything's wrong. Your vision is blurry, you're dizzy, you're falling down. We walked wide-eyed, without any kind of nausea, without any kind of thing, into a place that had mechanical and medical equipment. We saw their experiments. We managed to fend off a few of their caribou-headed guards. We met what was left of Pardue in a brain cylinder. It's rather vivid and very specific things that we saw.
You guys have obviously had a very hard time.
Plus Dominion went there and picked up all the shit that we left behind and brought it back here. So, including, I believe, a few specimens of the caribou men, which they all hunted down.
Well, that would be something.
Stanley, can you drive?
Yeah, I can drive.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't go over 35, you'll die.
What kind of car you got?
Well, it's a bit of a junker, but
that's perfect.
It'll get us there. It'll get us there kind of quiet too. It's it only knocks maybe once every 40 seconds.
Let's see what this location's like. I'm thinking maybe could use an automobile as a bit of a distraction, draw some of the guards away. Especially, I don't know, like a disgruntled former employee like smashed into the front doors and then took off.
Do they keep any like forklifts or something on premises? Any large
construction sites nearby?
Yeah.
It's in an industrial park.
There you go.
Like the equivalent at the time.
But you know how to drive a forklift?
Oh, I know how to drive a lot of things.
Nice.
Well, the incident that got me the can, so to say, involved an excavator and a maintenance logbook that showed it hadn't been even spit on by a mechanic for about a year. But of course, it's my fault when it malfunctions and kills the guy. And then the logbook disappears as soon as I bring it. Whatever. Yes, I can drive big things.
You killed a guy?
I didn't kill a guy. Management killed a guy.
Maintenance is important on your vehicle.
It is. It is.
Because I'm kind of thinking, looking at this motley crew we got going on here, that, well, as far as all the sneaky stuff inside goes, I'm probably better off doing that on my own.
Yeah, that's probably. Well, I don't know. Mr. Daniels, if you walk on the hem of your dress, is it quiet? Granted, you'd have to take off your heels because those are noisy.
I'm wearing flat shoes, young man.
Oh yeah, that's.
I'm not going to wear ladies' high-heeled shoes. I'm not some manner of sexual pervert.
Well,
I think you've got entirely
that's
the
a
wrong,
relief.
You have entirely the wrong. I can't think of the word.
Impression.
Impression. That's it. You have the
I
wrong
can't
impression of
imagine where
me.
he got that impression.
It's a disguise.
Right, right.
I'm not doing this for the fun of it.
Well, are you better at sneaking than you are at disguising?
I'm very stealthy for a man of my years. I am
Okay.
I am inclined towards moving slowly, so I find it natural to sneak.
I see. Right.
All right. Well, that's fair. Let's see what toys we can find around our target location.
Okay. Are you all gonna wander around, or are you going
Well, maybe Stanley and I should take a drive.
Well, we've been doing a little bit of surveillance. We've been keeping an
Have
eye
you?
on them.
to?
So Sean, can I say that we've written down their schedule? What we've seen.
Yes. Yes. You've been there long enough to have done that.
All right. So I've got a
Very good.
schedule
That could
here.
be
You can
useful.
see when the gods change and when,
Mhm.
it looks like they walk around the building every 45 minutes.
Mhm.
If I
Can I-
look at the schedule, is it similar to what it was when I was there?
Yes. No changes.
If I were to use my advanced psychology skills, would I be able to tell if this guy's like loony or not? Because I'm not entirely sure if I trust Dr. Brody's
Make a
intelligence
roll. Let's see
information.
what
My
happens.
assessment.
You can
I
roll 2
succeed.
zeros.
I got a regular success.
He
Does
seems
seem to have.
he seems like his faculties are all there. Seems
Okay.
like he's telling the truth as far as he knows it.
All right, good. Then the intel's probably good then. So.
You know, that actually brings up a good point, because I've been like trying to watch John and Stanley closely to see how they're reacting. Like, are they buying all of this? Because we just came out of the blue and hit them with all this weird stuff. Could I roll or ask out of character? Like, are you guys in, or are you guys like, are we all just a bunch of cuckoos?
Do you
Can't
have
ask out of character.
psychology or anything?
Not
Anything
bad,
like that,
actually.
or any-
I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at reading people. Nothing formal, obviously, but I'm pretty good at reading
No.
people.
Sure. Why not?
Should I roll? You want me to roll individually or collectively?
Collectively, how's that sound?
Okay, that's a fail. Big fail.
They
Totally
give each
believe
other
you.
sideways glances. They smile at odd times. Their eyebrow goes up. It's hard to really tell. I wouldn't say you think that they think you're lying, but
Okay.
They don't
But-
have to believe it. They're getting
The-
paid to
yeah.
retrieve the object, and they'll retrieve
The
it.
skepticism is tangible.
Yep.
Okay.
obviously
I think
skeptical, but
they're all
they haven't
loony.
left.
They're still here anyway. I guess that's
Yeah, they haven't left.
So
I think they're all
paid.
lunatics, but hey, I'm getting paid, so.
They're mercenaries.
Aren't we all?
Professional.
Mr. Berkowitz.
Professional.
I don't know much about, what do you do again? Geology?
Yeah, I'm a geologist, and I do a little engineering, or I did a little engineering.
Does that mean, do you have access to dynamite?
Well, currently I don't have access to anything more powerful than a butter knife. But
Well, you've been working since you left, haven't you? Have you? You're not unemployed or anything like that.
off and on,
Mhm.
few jobs. Employment hasn't been very steady.
Okay.
He would certainly know how to get it.
Yeah,
I
that's
use
what
it, yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I meant. Like,
It's
if we
the
needed it in a
20s, it's
jam,
not.
or
Yeah.
you would know the process to get your hands on it somehow.
Yeah.
Cool.
The
Good to
I'm
know.
not a controlled civil demolitionist,
Right.
but
I'm just saying,
collapse in a mine tunnel, collapse in a building. It's
I'm just
similar.
thinking, in an extreme case, that could be our diversion, but
It's a hell of a diversion.
maybe we're not there yet.
We've
I would
done it
hope
before.
I think driving an excavator through like the building across the street would be a pretty good diversion.
Oh, I was thinking through the wall, the
Not the
external
building
wall.
that I'm going to
Not
burgle.
the building, but the external wall.
Yeah, it's definitely a 8-foot tall wall, with, you assume, something pointy on top.
Oh, this is
Not
the
the
wall
easiest
around
wall
the place. Yeah.
around the place. There's 2 gates at the front,
Okay.
because there's 2 parking areas on either side of the main building.
Okay.
So there's 2 gates on either side of the main building, and there's 1 entry gate at the front, so staff go in and out that entrance. If they're driving in, mainly managers, they go in one of the 2 sides and they park alongside the buildings. There's a number of buildings around it. Yep.
8-foot tall wall with something pointy on top. Barbed wire.
There's
probably.
buildings around. I mean, there's buildings close by. There's alleyways between this building and this building's wall and other buildings as well.
Okay. Okay.
It's a downtown near an industrial park. You're right near one, but this compound is sort of set among other commercial buildings, not necessarily industrial buildings.
Sure.
No.
Okay. Well, yeah. So driving an excavator through that wall, yeah, would be a pretty good diversion, I would say.
Yeah. And
while you do that, I can
depending
go over
on
the
what
wall on the other
transmission
side.
it's got. Depending on what transmission it's got, I could set it just, go in circles and bail.
Yeah, and then they'll all come. They'll stop their walking around and come out and see what the hell's going on, and probably stand there and watch it for an hour. Then they'll have to call. Well, I don't know if they'll call the police, but they'll have to call some sort of maintenance and probably the police. But that's all going to be out in the front going on. Meanwhile, the back will be completely empty. They ain't going to search the building.
Yeah.
I take it you guys are leaving town after this, Dr. Brody?
If we get the piece, then we have to head towards Florida. You're welcome to join us. We might need you.
Florida, huh? I'll think about that. So
Well,
what's
don't
the deal
imagine
then?
beaches.
When we
We're
go
probably
in
going-
and we
we're
go in
probably
and
going
get
to a
this
swamp.
thing.
Sorry.
Yeah. When we go in and get this thing, we meet you outside afterwards. We got to pick a spot. And hopefully you'll be ready to travel then, yeah? Right away?
Okay, yeah. If we want to do it that way. Percy and
Oh, that's what I'm
Jimmy?
thinking. You said these guys were already after you, right?
well, they've been after us. They as far as they know, the last place we've been is Ohio.
Yeah, but I mean, somebody comes into their office and steals this particular thing, which you're talking
They'll
about
know
as
we're
part
here.
of 3, then obviously they're going to suspect you're there, right?
If we do manage to find some explosives, then we could plan it where you took the thingamajig, set that off, and they might think that it was destroyed.
I like the way you think.
I don't know anything about using dynamite.
No, it's not hard. You just light the fuse and put it where you want it. Or put it where you want it and then light the fuse. Steps 1 and 2 are kind of interchangeable, but step 3 is always run like hell.
Look, I'm a 35-year-old fellow with an average build and a slightly higher dexterity. How hard would it be for me to come with you, John? I'd kind of like to see what else they've got up there. They might have clues leading to the next piece, like paperwork or something.
I guess it depends on how good Stanley's distraction goes. I mean, if you want to come in, you're welcome to come along. But if you get caught, I'm not taking responsibility for that.
Oh, my career is over. It's shot to hell. I'm just thinking there might be something worth seeing. What do you think, Jimmy?
He did say they had guns. Are you armed?
Oh yeah, well, I've got my my 9mm semi-automatic. I've got my Lee Enfield, but I don't carry that running around.
Armed. I'm not going to be armed.
You're not going to be armed. Armed robbery is worse than regular robbery, huh?
Yeah, I don't. I'm not that kind of burglar. I don't do stick-up jobs.
I'm armed because we've been chased around by crab people, caribou people, and
Obviously.
fucking fire. What's a fire breathing? It's not a fire breathing dragon. It's not a fire breathing dragon. It's not a fire breathing
No ice. No poison.
Brody, do you have a fever?
Oh, no, none whatsoever.
Oh, okay. All right.
I've seen things, man.
All right. So, what's your vehicle? What are you escaping in?
Geez, I actually thought you were just going to bring it back here. I didn't actually think about.
I mean, I
Guys,
could, but there's no saying that
They can't
if
follow
these
you
guys are
back here.
watching you, they might turn up here. They might even turn up here while I'm gone. Who knows?
You don't have a vehicle with you, Dr. Brody, but you do have a vehicle. It is at a garage, a little ways down, where the Dean has arranged for you to park it, and you've also parked in behind your trailer with Celeste.
Okay, so I've got Celestine with me.
Celestine, yes.
Oh, fuck. That's a big bulky. All right.
You keep
But
your
we can-
girlfriend in a trailer?
Yeah, I keep my girlfriend in the trailer. She's
That's the most sane thing he said all night.
assuming that she's a spherical girlfriend.
She's full of hot air.
Sexist pigs.
Yeah.
We're talking about.
wife's off living with the sister right now, so
Percy, we're
don't
talking
tattle
about
on me.
Mama Golfieri, my hot air balloon.
You got a hot air balloon.
Got a hot air
Ah.
balloon.
I went up in a hot air balloon once.
Yes, I took you up in my hot air balloon.
No
Oh,
doubt. That's that actually sounds good. That sounds like fun.
It's come in handy more than you'd think. All right. So let me think this through. You go and you retrieve the object. We get ready and we go. We're going to meet you somewhere. Where's a good place to meet in Boston? Boston Common, near the thing. Fuck. What's better? Do you know where the? Oh, do you know where the ship? Oh fuck. I don't know Boston as well as I thought that I did.
What about the coffee shop down the street?
The coffee shop down the street.
There's definitely coffee shops.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Because you guys are going to have your car, right? And then we'll have our car.
Yeah.
So Percy and I can drive.
I got the Studebaker outside, but it doesn't seat very many. It's a Roadster. And it's not really mine. I'm just kind of renting it.
That might be that one thing. Yeah, it is a little. It stands out a bit. A little bit.
What's our car, Sean? Okay, it's a
car.
Is it a touring car? A big touring car?
Yes.
Okay.
You all drove in it at one point.
Our car seats 8.
Seats 8. Oh, like
That's nice.
6.
Well,
Yeah,
3 in the
probably
front,
6.
3 in the back, and 2 in the
Yeah,
rumble.
yeah. That's true.
the gentleman at the car showroom, he said it was called a Duesenberg. That's what he said.
All right, then.
I don't know whether that's the name of the car or just a term of abuse.
How about this?
Could be either.
We drive you over, around behind. We put you guys in place, and then we just park off the street somewhere. and that's where you bring the thing.
All right. So
And then
we're
we
out
go.
back, yeah?
So we've still
Not
got
him going
hours and hours before we're going to do this, right? You're going to do it in the middle of the night, right?
We're
That
gonna do
would
it at
be
night.
that would be
Yeah.
better.
Okay.
It's
Because,
June
you know,
22nd, so it's not, you know,
Yeah.
the sun doesn't go down till 9:30.
Well, that's because the solstice was a couple days ago. Let's well, we got all day to pack then.
No, you don't. It's 8:30 at night.
Yeah.
I thought oh, that's right. They arrived at 8 something.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Yeah,
still
we'll
got a
go-
couple of hours to
You get a
pack.
couple hours, yeah.
Well,
All right.
Mrs. Foster, I'm afraid we're no longer going to be here. We have to leave.
She's in her apartment by now. You'd have to go and find her, but easy enough if you're going to let her know.
So I
Easy
just
enough, so-
yelled at this. I was like,
Just you through the walls.
He's always
"Hey,
listening to the
Mrs.
walls.
Foster!"
I've told you to call me Edith.
Well,
so she,
well, Edith, you are a saint for putting up with this.
she's
Thank you
friends with
very
Dean,
much.
and anything Dean asks, I try to. He's a charismatic fellow. But yes, if you've got time to if you're going to pack your things, that's great. You can do that. You can have them ready to go. I'll flash forward a little bit. You can be ready to go. Bam, get in your
Yeah, I
cars,
would've-
off you go. What time of night do you plan?
I would have totally changed clothes by now. I'm not gonna wear a suit when I go
Right.
on
No.
a burglary.
I have also changed clothes.
Oh, thank God.
I'm now wearing a delightful taffeta ball gown. No, no, I'm
Dressed as a
wearing a
mime.
grass skirt and a boob tube. I have changed into more manly attire for
Okay.
the
Better for running.
circumstances at hand, and I have graciously returned the corset I was wearing to our landlady,
Oh, my goodness.
who loaned it to me for the duration.
She- she-
When
I'm sure
I
she'll
have time,
wash it.
I will pack up my dresses and send them back to my sister Dolly.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay, so you're all prepared. You're all ready to go. In the meantime, Stanley, just for clarity, you do know the layout of. Oh, sorry. You do know the layout of the building to a degree
Okay.
from when you were there last. The main floor, I'm not going to give you every room, but the main floor is the reception area,
Mhm.
elevators, washrooms. Around the outside perimeter of the building on the inside are just offices, engineering offices, drafting offices, a couple of managers' offices. And at the very back of the building with a large picture window is a boardroom. And it faces out to like this grassed area with a pond that they use for outdoor discussions and photo opportunities, that sort of thing. Upstairs, there's also stairs going upstairs as well, not just the elevators. It's only 2 floors, but there's some fairly elderly members of the board of the company, so they have elevators as well as stairs. The upper floor, there's a large boardroom, a smaller boardroom, engineering offices. Your office was actually upstairs, right next to Mr. Dearworth's office. You have only been in it once. The central part of the actual upstairs floor is a mock-up of some development sites. They always put mock-ups like, here's what we're going to develop, because they have subsidiaries that aren't just mining companies. They have engineering and developing subdivisions and that sort of thing. Cities with all kinds of strange patterns, and they build. The engineers will construct a mock-up of a subdivision rather, and then they'll tear it out after that. It goes out for construction. But your office was right next to Mr. Dearworth's. You know you have to go either up the elevators, up the stairs, one or the other, and it's in the northeast corner of the buildings where Dearworth's office was.
Okay.
Northeast corner.
And
of the building.
would there
oh, sorry.
be any other secure locations where they would keep like payroll or
Yes, well, there's payroll
things like
offices
that.
that have file. Every office has filing cabinets in it. It's a nightmare if you were looking for something you didn't really know who had it. There's finance offices, there's payroll, there's buying and selling, procurement, that sort of thing. The only office of a senior person in this office in Boston is Mr. Dearworth, and you've been in it once, and you know there is a safe, and you know there is a big desk with a boardroom table where people come to meet with him, a bar, and pictures on the wall of his ancestors or something, and Dominion's coat of arms, whatever they have. But there is a large safe in his room, and that's
Most
all you've
likely
seen.
where the stuff is. Okay.
That northeast portion of the building where his office is that around the back or the front or
Back.
just around the back of the building? Perfect. That's where I will be approaching from. Good.
All right.
Okay, so I've got a kind of like a duffel, I suppose, type bag with a strap that I throw over my shoulder. It's packed full of my gear.
And are there any active construction sites nearby?
There is a fish. You prompted me to think of it. What do you call not a fishmonger? What do you call like a warehousing place, a cold storage place for the fish from the harbor? Goes off to packaging and manufacturing. Cannery, something like that. There is a place 2 buildings down. It was at one time something else. I changed it. And at that location, there is definitely vehicles and fork truck type things, whatever they had in 1929. Lots of equipment. And now they work 24 hours, mind you.
Right.
But it also means they're not closed down at the present with guards wandering around.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an alleyway, as you remember it, that leads behind all of these buildings, which connects these.
Okay.
What are you thinking, Stanley?
Well,
what kind of vehicle you want? You were hoping for the excavator, weren't you?
Excavator, dump truck, something big. But I can make do with a forklift.
Well, there should be some big trucks around that warehouse as well, wouldn't there be?
Yeah, likely.
Those big refrigerated.
A big old smelly load of fish. Oh, that is poetic irony right there.
See?
I like it. Of course, then the automatic circles become a little bit more difficult because,
right, fair enough.
That'd work.
Maybe you could just load a crate of fish up onto the forklift.
Maybe.
Maybe you get lucky, you can find one of those, like, I don't know what they call it, but where they put all the kind of offal and the, all the guts and stuff.
Oh,
Chum.
Yeah.
Chum. There you go. Yeah, that's gross. Big old, like a big crate of chum or something.
Hell of a severance package. I like it.
Go wild. Have fun with it. This is your revenge.
Oh, I will. Treasure this moment till my dying day.
All right. Well, we'll drop them wherever they want to be dropped off.
Drop Stanley off wherever he needs to be dropped off to get his his vehicle, and then I want to go around back because I'm going to go over the back wall once the shit starts going crazy up front.
Okay. Where are you going, Stanley? Like where your car is, or are you going to the being dropped off at your car or at the fish plant, or what's your plan?
At the fish plant.
Okay. It is like you see in the movies, steamy, this is misty, and it smells like fish, and it's that there's vehicles moving in and out, and there's deliveries coming and trucks going out. It's constant movement, constant stream of people in and out. So you look at it's just busy. Never stops being busy.
All right. I'm going to find the spot where shift workers start moving in. just the people stream moving into the building, and just join up with them.
What time of day are you guys going to arrive, or night?
I figured we were going to leave about 10:30. We wanted to give like a good hour after sunset.
We also knew when their shift change was. So.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Is our shift change at 11?
11 o'clock. Yep.
Okay.
All right. So
I can work with 11. Yeah.
Well, it's just as you get there, you wait a little bit, and then yes, as predicted, there's a Fred Flintstone, and people come out, and other people are already moving on in with their steel lunch boxes and such. There's very little security at this location for people coming in and out. I think it's a lot of transient type worker. Like, you want to work in the fish plant? Come on in. Sign here. There's a little sign-in clipboard with your name and little somebody's there. They're more paying attention to the time on the clock than who's coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'll just scribble a pseudonym or some random name.
Okay.
And once I'm in, I'm gonna look for either a large truck, like out for outgoing delivery or something, or a large hauling device that they use to for chum.
They would have barrels of that stuff, so they'd probably have forklifts.
Yeah, looking around. Sorry, I'm just looking at. Yeah, there's vehicles everywhere, but there is definitely a location where vehicles have been loaded with materials that are ready to go, vehicles that are being loaded, and vehicles are being unloaded. In terms of the waste product, yeah, there's a vehicle that actually, you see it, they dump it in, and that waste product goes off to a barge and probably dumped in the ocean somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely a dump truck, and it's it's full. It is full of fish, guts and stuff.
Is there anyone currently in the dump truck?
No.
All right. I'm just
There's
gonna
people
walk up.
milling around, but okay.
Yeah. Walk up like I own the place.
Well, what could we possibly roll? We wouldn't really be stealth, but just make a roll.
Appearance.
Appearance, yeah, I'm thinking that
appearance
is probably
roll.
Make a roll. Let's see. I'll just I have a
Nobody
base
ever
number.
makes appearance rolls.
Revenge roll. We should have a revenge
a revenge roll.
Let's just not fail miserably. How's that? I'm gonna roll something for someone else, but you roll your thing.
Okay. They just pick something to roll for.
Yeah, just roll.
Oh gosh.
What was that?
That's an 85.
I rolled a 92, so
baby,
good. So you're walking towards this vehicle. You step up on the vehicle, and some guy comes out and he's got a clipboard. He goes, "Hey, where you go?" And then someone yells off to the side, and he goes, "Just a minute." And he goes off, and they start arguing about something, and then he just disappears. So by chance,
nice.
Truck's running, keys are in it.
All right. Am I clear?
You're clear.
All right. I'm driving it out.
Have you have a like a?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Just making sure you're not like grinding gears and
I have a rather high operate heavy machinery skill.
Oh well, there you go.
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh yes.
I just looked. Okay, so you can just accelerate your way, double clutching, whatever the hell you call it, in trucks and stuff.
Well, depending on the transmission, you don't even need to use the truck on. You use the clutch on this one. Just rev it up, de-rev it. Yep.
All right. Well, off you go. You are out on the street. Nobody stops you. Nobody says anything, and you don't see anybody running behind you, going, "Hey, where'd you go with that load of fish guts we don't care about?" So where? What
I'm sure they care about the truck.
They care about the truck, but yeah, there's so many trucks coming and going, it's not noticed right away. So where are you heading? You're two buildings down from, or two large building, like a block away from the location.
I'm just driving along the road. You know,
Okay.
It smells.
Yep.
standard. It's standard operating procedure. Just calmly following the speed limits, and then once I get to near the entrance,
Okay.
I'm going to nice and gently start drifting towards the guard post.
Well, there's two gates. Like there's no post, but there's gates, and the guards are inside the gates. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna go for one of the gate
Okay.
places.
Well,
Make it
let me
very
s-
obvious so the guard has plenty of time to get out of the way.
all right. Okay. Well, he's actually, because it's just after 11 o'clock, he and the other guard are standing in between the two gates talking for a sec because they switched locations after that.
Ah.
So he's not at the gate.
So just going right through the center then.
You're going into the. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The truck. Roll a drive just to make sure you don't miss the giant gate.
Yeah, that's a pass.
Okay. You drive at the gate. I mean, that's a rather large, heavy vehicle. The gate is made mainly just to keep cars from going in when they're not supposed to go in. It's not a giant steel, prison gate. Gate knocks right over. Plonk. The thing, the hinges are pulled right out of the brick walls. Down it goes. Your truck is inside, and the building's right there. Like it's you can't go. The building is to your left. This is the parking area, and if you bear to your left, you're going to go right in front of the front doors, or you can go straight and go into the parking area.
Is there enough space to drive the truck around the building?
Oh yeah. Well, you can drive down one side, across the back grassed area, and back down the other parking area to the other gate.
Yeah. That'll be the plan.
Okay.
I'm just going to do circles around the building.
Okay.
And it is a dump truck, right?
It is a dump truck from the time.
All right.
Yes. I don't know how they did it back then. It was hydraulics or they winch it or something, but yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, I've seen movies. Yes. Okay. So yes, it is a dump truck, and you can drive right through the gate, and you make one left-hand turn at the other end of the building, and you're on grass. So please make another drive roll because it is a grassy, uneven ground.
That's another pass.
Excellent. Well, I won't make you do that again. You make a left into the other parking area, and all you can hear is yelling behind you. There's one guy yelling, coming out, "Hey, what the hell? What are you doing?" And then there's another guy
If I'm
in front.
able to, I'm going to. Oh well, if it is hydraulic, I'd have to. Because I'd have to engage the PTO.
It's 1927.
You'd have to stop it, wouldn't you?
Yeah. So I'll stop it and raise the thing just slightly. So
Okay.
the fish will start sliding out.
Okay.
And then I'm going to keep going back forward.
Sure. Yeah, it's not difficult. You know how to do it. You operate heavy machinery. You feel the sliding as you move forward. It doesn't move initially. And you can feel the weight, the truck actually starting to increase speed as you just keep your foot steady because the weight is lessening in the back. So you are dumping raw fish guts on the parking lot on the other side, and you're heading towards the second gate.
I'm just doing a loop, going around the building, dumping fish.
Jimmy, what the hell is he doing over there? I thought he was supposed to get everybody to come out in the front so that John could get in the back.
I don't know. This thing is already going off the rails.
All right. Well, we'll see where it goes. They're going to catch him and shoot him.
You're going to keep going around, right? Though. All right.
Yeah. Well, once I'm out of fish, then I'm just going to start trying to do cookies in the parking lot.
John is standing on the back wall going.
Okay, John, you see all of this happening, as does everyone else. You see him go through. He slows down, raises the gate or the tailgate, the dump thing.
Yeah.
The bed, and then he continues driving. And now he's going through this first gate. There's guards. There are now 4 guards outside, yelling at him, leveling pistols at him, but not doing anything about it.
Well, what I'm thinking is, because I was going up over the the back wall when
I'm assuming you're part way up at least.
he was
at the
driving in.
top.
So I have some cutters in my bag that I can use to cut the barbed wire. I've got rope and a grapple and stuff as well if I need to for climbing. If you know.
Okay. Well, make your. I mean, there's no barbed wire on top. It's just like pointy stuff. Like it's
just
literally
pointy stuff.
like metal.
Okay, in that case, then I have like a big, thick, like kind of like blanket type thing, basically, to throw over the top, so I can kind of get over that without stabbing myself.
Yep, they're all distracted. You can do that. Just make a dexterity roll to make sure you don't, impale yourself.
Yeah, no problem. I rolled a 28, so.
Okay. You
Okay.
can
So I'll
drop down
slip
inside.
once he drives by and the guards go, guard running after him goes by. I know he didn't turn up his bed until he gets to the next parking lot, so that's when I'm going to drop down and make my way to that northeast corner where that Mr. Deerworth. Yeah, Deerworth. I was going to say Deerhampton. Mr. Deerworth's office is.
Okay. Well, his office is on the second floor, mind you, but
I know that. Yep, I know that.
Okay.
And he's making a lot of noise, I suppose, and the guards are all screaming at him and everything else. So, fuck it. I'm going to try to actually. You said there's a big window, right, for Deerworth's office?
On the main floor, there is a big window in a boardroom, center of the building.
Floor.
Now,
okay, right.
as you're facing that, to the left is another window, which is a small window in a manager's office, as Stanley had described. And above that is Deerworth's office, and there's another window up there.
Let's see if I can climb up to it. How's the outer bit of the wall here look and everything? Is there any handholds, anything of that sort?
There's a drain pipe in the corner of the building.
And I can climb up that then and make my way over to the window?
Yep. You can make it over to the window. You can make it to the window, yes. If you
That's
succeed.
what I will try to do then.
Okay.
Think you want me to roll climb?
Yes.
All right. Let's see here.
Are we going to need luck?
I think I'm going to need to push the roll.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I don't have enough luck.
All right.
It's not a fumble. I rolled a 97. It's not a fumble, though, because I do have 50 in the skill. So.
Okay.
I don't have 47 luck, so yeah, I have to push.
Okay.
I'll try it. Oh, wait. Well, what'll happen to me if I fail? Because, yeah, you're supposed to.
Well, you're in a grassy area.
Stakes.
It's grassy here. It's not. Well, there's tire tracks now, but it's grassy. There's a pond.
It's going to be chum here in a couple of minutes, too. So.
Yeah, it's going to be chummy in a minute. If you fail, I would assume. Let me see. It's 20 feet. You're 8 feet up. I'll say when this happens.
Right.
So you fall right to the ground, maybe bung your knee on the windowsill.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I'll give it a shot. It's 50-50 chance. Oof, 49. That's a pass by 1 point.
Oof. You slip, but you catch your shirt sleeve catches on one of the little grommets that's holding the thing, and you're hanging by it. You manage to grab. You get your foot on the windowsill, and you make it up to the second floor window.
Okay.
You look inside. There is no light on, but it's unoccupied as far as you can see.
Right, and he's still making tons of noise.
Oh, he's making tons of noise. The guards are running around. You can hear a vehicle starting up. I think they're going to try and chase.
Is there a mechanism like that locks this window? Or actually, I'll try the window. Does this window open?
The window has a hinge on the inside, like a winch, to open it up.
I see. Okay. Is it big enough for me to fit through the window?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to smash in with my elbow.
All right. Make a strength, I guess. Strength roll.
I'll spend 4 luck to make that a success. I only have a strength of 40.
Conk. Okay.
I'll spend 4 luck for that one.
Okay.
Maybe it takes me a couple of whacks, but I'll break in the glass.
Yep, it's broken. You don't necessarily take any damage, but your jacket's torn or your shirt's torn. Now I assume you're probably wearing a leather jacket or something heavy.
That's all right. These are throwaway clothes anyway.
Yep. Okay, window's broken. You're in.
All right. So I'll roll into his office and Light. Yeah, I have a flashlight in my pack.
Okay.
You want my flashlight?
Sure.
My fancy little electric torch.
And Stanley, you're just driving around. I mean, they're starting to start up a vehicle to chase you now. Suppose you know. Okay. No police yet, but there's 4 guards. You think there might be a 5th, but
As soon as I'm out of fish,
yeah, you're out.
I'm just gonna be going around in the parking lot.
Okay. All right. Well,
Just smearing the fish all
Yep.
over the place.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you're doing that. That's fine.
Doing
Just
donuts in a dump truck.
doing donuts in a dump truck. You make another drive roll though, because it is slippery now with the fish guts and everything else. And I'm a little concerned that you might.
I will
doesn't
spend
sound
9
good.
luck to make that a pass.
Ooh. Okay. Well, you make it. I'll assume. Let's just say the idea comes to your head that it's slippery here, and they actually have a vehicle. And they're going to try blocking one of the. They've pulled up in front of one of the exits.
Mm-hmm.
So you think you may wish to rethink your choices in life. No, you may wish to reconsider your donuts because they're actually going to try blocking you in now with another vehicle.
Okay. What's the size of their vehicle that they're gonna try and block me with?
It's a car. It's just a black
Okay.
sedan.
If I get the opportunity, I'm gonna clip the back end of it because it's
Sure.
slick.
It's slick. Roll a drive. See what happens.
That's a pass.
All right. You're trying to leave now, or just trying to evade them?
Trying to disorient the car, and then I will start leaving.
All right. You clip them. You shove it to the side. The driver's knocked out. Knocked off to the side, and you can go out the gateway and head off. Now you do hear sirens, just so you know.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn the dump truck around, and then I'm going to put something heavy on the accelerator, and then bail.
So it's going back in.
Yeah, it's going back in, driverless.
Okay,
That's
sure.
the plan.
Make a dexterity, because I assume you're going to find something heavy like a steel lunchbox in the front of the cab or something.
That's okay. That's a fail. So I injure myself on the way out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Let's roll. See what you take. You take 2 points. Twist your ankle a little bit. You hobble off into the night, I'm assuming, to someone's backyard or something like that and hide out. But there are sirens and there are police cars coming now. However, back to John. You're in the building. You've got your flashlight. You know where he says the safe was. But Tom, yes, I'm sorry.
He can run back to our car. We're waiting for him.
Yeah, you'll have to do some
getaway car,
hop, skipping, and jumping through backyards and stuff. But you know where you're going. We'll just say you get to the car. All right, John, you're on.
Yeah. All right. So I look for the safe. See if it's where he said it was.
It is where he said it was. Yes. There's a filing cabinet. There's a file on the desk. Mm-hmm. There's a black book on the desk, and then there's the safe.
Okay. Now, safe cracking. Does that fall under locksmith? That falls under something completely different.
I would say it falls under locks. I don't think there's anything unless you specifically called it something else. I mean, you could call it arts and crafts.
I'm better at locksmithing.
Yep.
All right. I'll see if I can get it open. Fuck.
Well, this is your job, so.
Yeah, it was a fail. How many points of luck? I didn't need to spend 25 points of luck to turn that into a success.
You're the best burglar ever.
If I push the roll and fail, then I can't spend it.
You can't open it, yeah. And it's...
Yeah, what do you need luck for anyway, right? Christ.
Nothing in this game.
My dice fail me. All right. I'll spend the luck, turn it into
20,
a regular
25
success.
luck. Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. I didn't have much to start with either.
Well, you do your thing, listening and playing around. It's really hard, and you're getting concerned because you can hear sirens outside, and you can't hear any yelling, and you don't hear anything in the building yet. You in the distance, if you really listen, you can hear some guy. You could hear some guy on a phone yelling into a telephone, but
Mhm.
that's way off down the hallways.
Background noise. Yep.
Background noise. And all right, so bam, you open the safe, and you open it up. Inside, there's some stacks of money, like actual cash money. There's a small tin box with a lock on it. There is another black book, like a notebook. There's something about finances on it. And there's like miscellaneous things, and then there's a watch.
Okay. Now this box, this little locked box, you said, does that look like
Yes.
about the right size to hold the item they'd showed me?
No.
No.
Nope.
All right. Well, I shuffle all that stuff into my bag. The money,
Okay.
the book, the little
Okay.
lockbox, the watch.
Yep.
And I'll start rifling through the rest of the office real quick. I know I've got limited amount of time, but I'll spend a minute or two like just rifling through the office, see if we can find anything else.
All right. Do a spot hidden.
Okay. Spot hidden. Fuck. Well, no, I failed. I can push this one though. I can push it.
Okay.
Why not? I don't have enough luck, but I'll push it. Nope. I failed the push roll as well. Wow.
Okay. These are great. You need new dice.
The lowest roll I've had on my last 3 rolls was a 72.
Wow.
Last
Okay.
4 rolls.
All right. Well, you don't find anything else.
Okay.
You've
I get the
failed
fuck
your
out,
push,
man. I'm gonna
and
go
yeah,
out the.
that's out the window again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Easy enough. You get out the window. You're going down the drain pipe again. I won't make you roll for it because you're being extra careful.
Going
You
down's a
do-
little easier than going up anyway.
Yeah. You do hear cars pulling into the parking lot and sliding in fish guts, and you do hear yelling, and the sirens are turned off now. But there's flashing lights reflecting off of the buildings nearby. You have a clear path straight out the way you came because these are all in the parking lots off to the side. So just
Yeah.
make
No, I'm gonna
a
make straight for.
stealthy kind of run, and you're good.
Sure, I'll roll stealth. Yeah, it's a hard success.
Oh, finally. Okay, good. Well, you make it where you came over. I'll assume you probably thought to put a rope over because you're a professional, so you can get back up this 8-foot
Well,
pointy wall or something.
I've got a rope in my bag with a grapple. I can use that, go up, and then pull it back over with me.
All right, you're being extra careful now. I won't make you roll for it. You get over the wall, you're free.
Yeah, I'm running as fast as I can for the getaway car.
Yep. All right. You can get to it. You just have to take the back roads and stuff. You're all together in the car now, and there's police. They're all focusing on the dump truck and the mess at the factory, and then somebody's going over to the police, the fish plant. But there's generally they're not running around looking for people. They're just milling about.
Mm-hmm.
John, come on, let's go. How did we
Yeah.
do?
Not good. Drive.
All right, we're driving.
I didn't find your little rock thingy, your
You didn't find it.
key,
Hmm.
your radio, whatever you call it.
Did you find my retirement?
Hey, you got your revenge. We saw that. The hell?
Oh, that was. I had the time of my life. That was.
Pull that little locked box.
All worth it.
Pull that little locked box out.
Yeah.
See if I can jimmy it open now. I wasn't going to spend the time on it in the office in the heat of the moment, but pull out one of my little lock picks, and no, I can't. Fuck it.
And what are we paying you?
You should become a geologist.
The car's
Guess
bumping
so.
around too much.
Well, let's
mocked
get
and
you back to
delicate.
your house. Let's get you back to the house. How's
Oh,
that
are we
sound?
going back?
Yeah. How much cash was in there?
Couple $1,000.
I give half of it to Stanley.
All right.
Thank you
That's
very
You
much.
guys got
27.
paid twice. So, all right, you get back to the house. You've got a file folder, very thick that was on the desk. You have the lockbox, a watch. You have what did I say it was? And 2 black books. Now, there's other papers throughout the building. The one thing you noticed when you were rifling through papers and stuff is you caught a glimpse of one thing. And that one thing was a photograph of Dr. Brody.
Oh,
It was in a file folder marked Ontario.
okay. I saw that. That's not something I brought with me.
Yeah, it's something you brought with you.
Okay, cool.
The file folder that was on the desk, now that you guys are looking at it, it actually says Ohio on it. And one of the black books was just a revenue book. It's like a book of like expenses, but it's the other book is it's a diary.
And the locked box, is it locked with like a padlock, or is it like like a little tiny lock inside of it?
Little tiny lock, just a
little internal lock. All right, I'll try it again.
Just pry the
we're not in a
fucking
moving
thing
car.
open.
Yeah.
Pry it open with a butter knife. Give me the fucking thing.
Yeah, see if you can open it.
I'm just gonna get
with
a
base.
The fucking box is like, I don't know, man.
I'm gonna
It's
get a
Fort Knox.
screwdriver from Mrs. Foster's thing and just pry the fucking thing open.
Your hands are shaking after all you went through.
All right. So, what do I need?
Pry it
Spring?
Sure, just rip it open. No finesse needed.
Oh my god!
I told you.
What is this fucking thing
Told you.
made out of?
Do we need to
Percy.
find some dynamite for the box?
Yeah, that's what you need a dynamite for.
Percy, you have a go at it.
It's that alien technology.
I think it's
Whatever.
German.
Whatever happened to that magician we used to hang around with? Oh, that was another world.
I mean, I could try to roll strength as well. I succeed at that.
Just pry it open with a screwdriver.
All right. Yeah,
Okay.
fucking stick a screwdriver to it, then take a fucking rubber mallet and I just smash it into it and finally
Between
break
you
it all.
all,
break it all to
you
pieces.
rip the lid off. You don't even undo the lock. The lock remains solid, but the box comes apart. And
You get the
inside,
hinges off, and the lock is the only thing holding it on. So
it's
you have to
all
twist it around.
right.
And
You shake things to get it to come out. Yeah.
Jesus
in the
Christ.
in the
Sorry.
box is I hate using it in this game. A scroll. It's actually an old papyrus-like paper scroll. And
yeah, good thing we didn't use the dynamite on that.
a lighter to heat up the metal to make it easier to. Anyway, it's a scroll of some sort. You don't know what it says. It doesn't appear to be written in any language any of you know.
It's some alien language.
It's strange, blocky writing. It just doesn't look like anything you've ever seen.
Is it regular paper?
No. It's like, did vellum exist? It's like
No.
vellum. It's like plasticky vellum. Like it's like a heavier than regular paper. You don't think you could tear this with your hands if you tried to.
Is this
I know I
paper?
couldn't.
You've only got 11 locks left.
I think this is some sort of alien document. I don't recognize the language.
Alien as in like normal alien or your kind of alien?
Did we see any kind of similar language when we were in the lab written on
Maybe.
things?
Oh, you need to roll for that, but you can tell me what you want to roll that makes sense.
French?
You.
No.
Wouldn't intelligence do it?
Yeah, intelligence could do it, sure.
Okay.
It's an idea roll, right?
I
is.
got a 22 out of 85, so that is a regular. I mean, a hard.
A hard
I
success,
got a-
you actually recognize some of the shapes.
I got
Sorry,
a
Percy.
97. I don't recall ever seeing anything like
You believe it's Swahili.
This
that.
this is the language of the crab things, the Miko. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
obviously.
I don't know. I think Swahili sounds more plausible.
I'm fairly certain it is Swahili. I've seen
But
it before, you know.
And there's
You-
nothing like a translation or anything. No, it's just what it is.
Not in this box, no.
I'm gonna.
Well, we could
Hold-
go back over to the fish place, get a crab, give the crab a pen, and see what it writes.
I'm gonna hold it up to the light.
I don't think you're taking us entirely seriously, are you?
I'm still. Don't mind me. I'm still giddy from the fun I had.
Hold it up
You
to the
really
light.
should try doing that.
You can slightly see through it.
Okay, I
in
wanted to
that
see
it's
if
like
there was
vellum.
any mock. Maybe I should hold it in the moonlight because I've read Tolkien.
Is there a lark around here? No, it's there's nothing you can see holding it up to the light necessarily. But I mean, it's just one piece of many that you found. It's very interesting.
I feel like I'm supposed to be Sherlock Holmes, but really I'm more like Jerry Holmes.
Surely.
Uh,
I don't get that reference. Sorry.
yeah, I can't figure any of this shit out. Well, we got a scroll.
That is some substantial paper.
I don't think that it's paper. I
Well,
think that it's some alien
Functional paper.
I get the corner of it and I try to tear it. Unterrible?
No, it's not something you could easily tear.
No.
You could probably cut it with a knife, you think maybe, but you're not gonna.
And it's in
tear it with your
perfect
hands.
condition. It's not like old and tattered.
It's in good condition. It's not new.
Did you see anything else? Any artifacts? Any shrunken heads? Nothing?
Nothing strange. I mean, there's artwork on the walls, and it's artwork of like
And now,
Tibetan monasteries and
and now
strange
we're going
things.
to. Now we're fucked. We can't go back there. We might as well just go to Tallahassee.
And you were certain that it was in that building.
Well, 99% sure.
Hmm.
Of course, you didn't search the whole building. You just searched where we thought
Well,
it most likely to be.
That would have been the place to keep it unless they put it in the.
Or they got put in a middle manager's office or something.
No, they
maybe.
might have some
My old office.
museum or something in the basement. Who knows?
Yeah. Is there a basement in there?
Everything in
You know,
lost
Nah,
it.
no
not-
basement.
I'm not saying the doctor's intel was no good, but I had a feeling his intel was no good before this whole thing started.
Hey, Stanley, you're sitting there thinking, God, what the heck? These guys said this thing was in this damn vault or whatever, this safe, but I don't. Then you make an idea roll.
That is what degree of success? Just a normal success.
Just normal success. Well, you think to yourself, well, this is only one office. There's other buildings, and you start racking your brain. What the heck? And you remember, well, there's other locations everywhere. Like this company has locations all over North America and elsewhere, but it also has other buildings in Boston area.
What would be how many buildings in the Boston area?
Well, you know that there were locations where like they stored equipment, where they stored off-site storage of like financial stuff. Like there's just different storage. You just remember seeing at one time a list of properties, and there's a good 6 properties in Boston. So it's, I'm not saying you're remembering this is where it could be. You're just remembering this isn't the only location, and it's not necessarily the most secure location, because obviously people could just pop in, or not pop in. People they were able to break in. You note right away there's no alarm system. There's just guards.
There are more Dominion locations. Not like offices or anything super duper official, but like storage areas, warehouses.
We kind of sort of knew that. The thing is, I figured that most obvious place would be where Mr. Deerworth is, because I imagine he's the one behind it all. But oh God, I was really happy as a teacher.
Dr. Brody, like, what's your most treasured possession, your most valuable possession?
My most valuable possession? Well, other than Celestine, my balloon, it would be my flask.
Well, never mind. I was going to say, most people don't keep their most valuable precious item on them at all times,
Well,
especially if they know somebody is out trying to steal their stuff,
I guess maybe I had the.
Of course, then again, that raises another idea. Maybe we should go to this Deerworth's house or whatever. What's his name? Deer Farm? Yeah, Deerworth. Go to his house.
I don't know where he lives. I guess we could find that out.
Percy, could you make a spot hidden while everyone's talking?
Oh, yes, I think I could do that. And that's
I've got my Coke bottle. Yeah, I've got my Coke bottle glasses off and sitting on the table. I'm just rubbing my eyes.
Okay, Percy, while everyone's talking, you're just sort of poking at things that were brought from the office. And you notice one of the black books says diary, but it also says calendar. And they're talking, and you flip it open and you start searching, and you fast forward to today. And when you get to today, you see that Mr. Deerworth has written in the book. It's solstice, or is it the equinox? It's solstice. Today's the day. It says 11:45 p.m. Warehouse 13. I think we'll do it.
I say.
What is it, Percy?
I think you should look at this.
What's that?
It's his diary. There's an entry for this evening. Warehouse 13. It says he's doing it.
Tonight. At what? What time is it right now?
It 11:45 tonight at Warehouse 13.
What time is it right now? Well, we left the house at 11:30 or 10:30, so it's probably getting pretty close to 11:30 anyway.
What is it doing?
It's only 10:40 p.m.
Oh, okay. It's only been 10 minutes. Feels like hours.
I'm just kidding.
It's about 10 minutes ago.
Oh.
Yeah, I could have.
Well, there
told
you go.
That.
Let's go see what they did.
It feels like 5. Time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, I'm gonna go drive over there.
Well, you don't know where Warehouse 13 is.
Yeah.
Does Stanley know where Warehouse 13 is?
Well, let me think.
It's out in the desert.
Is Warehouse
somewhere.
13 some clandestine warehouse? So I think I wouldn't know where it is. But.
You wouldn't necessarily. You actually have heard it mentioned before. When you think about it, you might have
But I
heard
haven't been
Dean
there.
mention it, perhaps, or
Do you
in
know
one
where
case.
warehouses 12 and 14 are?
It's right in between.
Or even where one is.
So you're thinking about it. You're all thinking about it, and well, I mean, Stanley, you worked in the office, and you look down. You're looking at this. There's file folders that are like information on Ohio and Ontario, which pretty thick files. You know, it has something to do with what the guys have been talking about. You're almost afraid to look at it. The other book, it says financials on it, and even without a roll, you start thinking, wait a minute, and you open up financials, and it says the year 2029, or not 2029, 1929 inside the front cover, and you start flipping, and you realize this lists every building in the Boston area and the financials related to the operations of those buildings. And each building is itemized with an address and financials. And when you flip forward, and there is a W-13 listed. And at W-13, unlike the other ones that have like income, like a payroll, this and that, this one just has numbers, nothing but numbers, no identifying information, a few code numbers. And it is a massive, it's like except 30% of the book, and it has an address, and yes,
Boom, there's your address
in the back, and it is the other side of town, and that is Tom, we should probably leave it there for the night because it's 11.
Yeah.
We're going through Boston. Our players included Jeff Wilkins, Mick Swan, Ian Christensen, Brian Daly, and myself, with Sean Little as the keeper of the secrets. We usually play 4 times a week and post on YouTube within a couple days of each episode. We also post the audio versions on iTunes and Podbean. Just so that you know, we don't monetize our shows. The only shows that we have ads are because we occasionally use copyrighted music, and the music owners get the cash, we don't. Our costs are almost entirely covered by our patrons. What's not covered comes out of our own pockets. By pledging just a couple of dollars a month, you are directly helping us defray costs and improve our show. So if you enjoy our show and would like to become a member, one of our supporters, please visit our Patreon account. Just there's a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Tom Riley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure in the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.